Okay, we are officially live on Google Hangouts. Boom! Guys, it is the final 4 weeks. I know that you've been hearing me say this over and over again. For those of you on the phone, welcome to the call. For those of you on the live stream, welcome to the stream, because it is the final 4 weeks. And today I wanted to just hit some big time reminders and hopefully encouragements to fundraise through the finish line. I was talking to a few people on the phone today, and I know it feels like life is crazy right now with Memorial Day weekend and the end of school coming up and all of these things happening. And I know that you've got this lurking 10, 20-mile run that is just hovering around you. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what the heck have I gotten myself into? And I'm telling you, you have gotten yourself into the work of God. You've gotten yourself into doing great things for the good of the world, for the betterment of humanity. I mean, unbelievable things. That's what you've gotten yourself into. And I'm telling you, come Saturday morning, when we get together and we conquer these miles together, you will be feeling better together. And hopefully tonight's call is the same similar type of purpose, that we can get together and brainstorm together so we don't feel like we're isolated and out there on our own, because we are not. We are a team and we are strong, and God is doing incredible things through us. So my hope and my goal, the next 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how crazy our brainstorm gets, is that you can feel encouraged and surrounded, and that you are on a team that is literally approaching a start line and a finish line. It is in sight, guys, less than 30 days to go. And if you're really nervous about that, whether it be on the fundraising side or the training side, I just want to tell you, a lot of things happen in this last month. I mean, confidence in your training and your mileage. Guys, if you're feeling a little beat up physically, that is okay. That is normal. I know it's not good. I know you don't feel confident about it, but ultimately you've been pushing and pushing and pushing your body to this new brink, to this new area of existence. And whether you've run this mileage or not, every time you push your body towards a pinnacle, right, it's going to have some aches and pains, and you're going. That is actually part of the training to stretch you. So come race day, you feel better. And I'm telling you, after Saturday and this longest run, it's all taper from here on out. So this is the best time, actually, as you are at this pinnacle and you are feeling this stress, to be honest, and this suffering per se, that you can literally lean into that and leverage it with your friends and your family, and be honest about how hard this journey has potentially been, why you got into it, how you're feeling now, where you're going, and why you're doing this. And this is when you really got to ground yourself in the why, so you can get through these hard miles and get to the other side, because this is what it's like. I mean, we can never know what it's like for these women and these families and these communities. But guys, when we're pushed to our brink, we get a little taste of what theirs is like, and we're going to help them get to the other side of it. And we're going to get to the other side together. So here it is tonight. I'm going to screen share a little bit. So if you're on the phone, you probably want to jump onto the Hangout if you can. And this is going to be out there so you can see it again after time, after this call. And if you're just on the Hangout and you want to jump in on the conversation, feel free to get on the phone and mute your phone. And then what's cool is if you have any questions or if you have any brainstorm ideas or things that have been helping you, then you can unmute and then jump into the conversation. And every time that happens, what I'm going to do is just put my phone on speakerphone, and then your voice will be able to be heard on the interwebs. All right. So with all technology and glory through the Holy Spirit, this will all work. So here it is. I'm going to screen share with you first, just to give you an idea of where we're at. Okay. So boom. Let me show you something. If you are on the phone and you can't see this, it is our homepage, our team homepage. And I know a lot of you have been really focused on your church homepage and your own homepage, but this is the team homepage. Guys, we are $4,086. Did I say that right? $1,086 away from $300,000 raised, which means 6,000 people will never have to walk for dirty water again because of this team right now. That is absolutely incredible. Guys, last year when we crossed the finish line after the race, we raised a total of $237,000. So over 6,000 people got clean water, but That was the whole kit and caboodle. Race day with post-race day fundraising still coming in. And guys, we are going to crush that within the next week to week and a half. Our averages are only going to increase, and they are increasing right now because we're all getting that courage to invite people in. So you need to literally tell people what is happening because of everyday Joes like you and me. A lot of times we think that, oh, well, my $50 or my $25 or my $5 isn't going to matter. No, it's mattering big time. Guys, we have donors from all over the place that are even giving their widow's mite, and that is adding up to huge life change, historic life change. So that's our home page, guys, that you're seeing right there. And I'm going to click on a couple links just to show you. You can see my top dashboard, my toolbar right at the top after I've logged into the page. So you can see I'm logged in and I've got my dashboard, donations, messages, resources. Guys, a lot of this stuff to you might just be review right now, but we're going to bam, power through it just so you remember what you have at your fingertips and that you can use it. Because right now, this is all about letting out these invitations and inviting people in and letting God work in people. So use the resources you have with you. So if you go to your toolbar, you'll be on your dashboard. Your dashboard, you'll see mine right here, literally pops up, and you can customize your fundraising page. If you haven't done that lately, if you don't have a picture and an up-to-date story, take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half hour, and make that personal so people know your story and what you are inviting them into. And to be honest, guys, if your page doesn't have a picture and your page doesn't have a story, people aren't going to see your investment or what you want to happen, and their investment will match yours. Literally, I've had people say, if this is so important to you, why haven't you personalized your page? And I was like, great, I will get right on that. So literally personalize why you're running and what you're doing. And then over here, you'll see your fundraising resources. If you click on that, your fundraising resources tab is huge. I don't want you to invent the wheel, and that's why I'm showing you this really quickly. But honestly, straight out, I mean, I fundraise every year, and every year it's scary, it's awkward, it's intimidating, and I think, what the heck am I doing? And then I remember that clean water is awesome, healthy kids are incredible, and people want to invest into the goodness that is happening in the world, guys. So don't talk about money, talk about life change, talk about transformation, give people a vision to catch that they can be a part of, that they are supporting you. They are doing something much larger than just helping a friend. They're literally helping end the clean water crisis, one donation at a time. So guys, as you scroll down your fundraising page, you'll notice that these are top fundraising ideas, literally from our top fundraisers nationwide. This is stuff that they've done, creative and effective, successful attempts and efforts they've made with their fundraising that have worked. So you don't have to recreate the wheel. You can even implement what they've done. This guy right here is named Evan McBroom, and he created a ridiculous clean water video that you can even use for your own fundraising. So click on that, you can use that. The next big thing I want you to point out to you is the Hero Challenge. A lot of us have said we want to give 60 people clean water or more. And some of us have even shot for lower goals, you know, which is totally fine. But wherever you're at on the spectrum, this Hero Challenge is additional resources to help you. So if you click on that learn more, it's going to take you to teamworldvision.org/hero. And you can see it's be a hero. And it literally is going to help you with a guide to plan to hit that goal. And guys, my number one tip to you is if you want to hit that 1310 level and provide 26 people with water for life, create a $2,000 goal or a $3,000 goal. What I call that, and I know you're like, Lindsay, I got enough problems raising my goal the way it is. Like, why are you telling me to raise more? When you set a higher goal than what you actually want to hit, what you're doing is creating what I call a generosity gap. The higher your goal is and the higher the gap is, the more generous people can be. If you have a low goal, people usually give at a low level because it's a small gap, if that makes sense to you. But if you have a huge gap, maybe people have an extra $100 to donate, or maybe even $200 to donate. But if you have a little goal, they're going to give a little. If you have a big goal, they're going to give more. So guys, don't get hung up on the, oh my gosh, I have to hit this goal, and you get scared of it so you don't go after it. man, really pray about it. Set a high goal and let people be generous. Invite them into that vision. But guys, this is a great guide. And then this actual Excel web spreadsheet right here, I'm going to show you mine. Guys, if you don't have a plan to hit your goal, it's going to be a lot harder to hit your goal. And this spreadsheet is incredible. And I'm just going to pop it up here on my screen really quickly. But you can literally type in first, last name, email address, real address, and then all the information for the person that you're asking to make a donation you're inviting in, whether you sent a letter, whether you made a phone call, a text message, an email, a Facebook text. So you know how you've communicated with them, and you can use different forms of communication depending on that person and how they communicate, right? And how you can reach out. But then this column really right here is awesome. The goal. What do you think your goal is for them to give? What are you going to invite them into giving? Sylvia Jane is the head of our missions committee at the church I grew up at. I know, and my invitation to her was to invite her and the missions committee to consider giving clean water. I know that they've given, I think, $300 in the past at least. So I'm going to see if they're willing to recommit and additionally give more. So I've Facebook texted her and I've emailed her. I actually haven't texted her or called her, so I'm going to delete those. But then as soon as she gives me a donation or doesn't give it to me, then I can actually fill in that amount. So she gives 100, boom, then it adds up. Okay, but she hasn't given anything yet, so I'm not going to do that. But you'll notice right over here at the top of the page, it shows right now with the asks that I have lined up of getting $2,900. Okay, so I am right around hero level. I got to keep on pushing and get to that 60 kids and keep on going because, guys, I have a $10,000 fundraising goal, and I'm running all the way to Chicago, but I want to hit at least $5,000 by race day, which means I got a lot of work to do. And I've got some people to contact and reach out to and invite in and remind. But now I know exactly where I am. And if you're anything like me, that is good to know where you are so that you know how far you need to go and how far you've come. But that spreadsheet is huge and very, very helpful. Guys, the other thing I want to show you as you go down this row is you can see the National Leaders Board, which is incredible. Some of our Seattle runners are some of the top fundraisers in the nation. It's absolutely incredible. You can see the Epic Hero Medal that you're going to get. You can see the WASH reports right here. So guys, when I'm telling you all this information that like 4.6 million people got clean water last year, because of #1 provider of clean water, that we are water crisis everywhere we work by 2030, that's through these reports. So click on these reports and you will be able to actually email those out to friends and family. You can use that information in your emails if you want, but that's accessible to you. And then ultimately at the bottom of this page, here are literally some Facebook posts and different things that runners have done from across the country, very creative, that they've used their gifts and talents to raise money in different ways. Anything from shaving your head to one of our friends makes incredible artwork and she did donations for that stuff. Our very own Kristen McGonigal ran 29 kilometers on her $2,900 and she crushed it. She might even be on the call and can share in a little bit. But guys, these are tools and tips that are for you. So I just want to throw that out to you to let you know that that's there. I'm going to take myself off a screen share. Boom. Okay, and we're back. And I just want to show you some of my stuff and talk through real quick a couple of things that I'm doing. I have a $10,000 goal. I want to provide 200 kids with water for life. Well, simultaneously, I didn't know that the Lord had actually placed that upon my husband's heart too. So for the first time ever, the two of us are trying to provide 400 people with water for life, which is our biggest goal ever, which is incredible. So we've really been thinking about how do we do this? And to our, I think, highest capacity fundraisers and people close to us, we've actually created a little folder of love that we're mailing to people or handing to them personally over coffee. But it's a simple folder that you can see here. And on the left-hand side pocket, we have a personal letter to them. And then we've created little cards just through Microsoft Word, like a business card, but it has our phone number, our email address, our home address if people want to send us checks. the secure donation link. So my actual link, my Team World Vision link that people can donate to online. And then, make checks payable to World Vision. But we've got the personal, or personal letter that explains what we're doing and what the goal is and how to give. And then on the right-hand side, you'll actually see I printed off the water reports so people can see what their investment literally is going into, that this isn't just a drop in the bucket. It's not a Band-Aid, making a donation to the charity. Like literally they're partnering with #1 provider of clean water on the planet right here. And this is the investment they're making. And I know for some people that are very philanthropic or are willing or maybe capable to make a big donation, I feel like they should know what they're investing into. So whether it's a big donation or a small donation, you can attach those reports to emails. You can actually send them to people, to folks that have donated multiple times in the past, either in the invitation email that I'm asking them to give, or in the thank you email that I'm sending back to them. I'm attaching those wash reports so people know what they are doing. You know what I mean? It's not what we're doing, it's what we're doing together with our donors. So that's just a little perspective for you guys on kind of what we're doing. One other little tip: social media is incredible. It is awesome. It gets out your story. It's personal. It's in front of people. But what I've found is people get really excited for you. And that's your story. That's your page. That's what you're doing. Until you personally invite people into your journey, that's kind of what it is. They're seeing you do it, and that's your thing. Even though you're saying, hey, post, like you're posting your link, always post your link, because people, you never know what God's going to lay on people's hearts to do that, right? But ultimately, what I think Facebook, social media, Instagram, all of it, what's the best thing about that is showing people what you're doing and what your heart is and how awesome this is. And it's warming them up to your personal invitation into this mission. So you're not like going in cold calling these people. If they're online and they're your friend on Facebook, they're seeing what you're doing and what's happening in your life and how you're conquering these miles. And then when you can personally, through email, through a phone call, through coffee, through a letter, actually send in somebody a letter. People appreciate real mail these days, guys. Then that is a huge warm invitation into what you're doing, and then they can do it with you, if that makes sense. So don't get down on yourself. Don't get down on yourself if people aren't donating to your Facebook page, like through your Facebook post. It's a great avenue, and you can pick up donations, but that is not going to be, for most people, their main way of actually creating an impact and generating support. So I don't want to break your heart with that, but I just want to be honest with you about that. So with your invitations, be personal, be specific, be passionate, and definitely make sure your link is attached to anything and everything that you give out. And my last tip before we kind of open this up for some brainstorms, I know we've got a couple people on the phone that can shout some things out. My last tip is the 3-time rule. Bothering people. You are not bothering people. One more time, you are not bothering people. Literally, if you send out a mass email to all of your friends, they probably see that it's a mass email and they might read it and they might think it's awesome. Maybe they don't even read it. Maybe they accidentally delete it. But guys, sending out one email is good, but it's only one email. And guys, I'll go ahead and tell you, I delete things by accident. I don't always read things. I skim through things. I forget about things. And we're coming up on the end of the month. And that's when people have paychecks, right? They pay their bills and then they can give generously. So now is a good time to be getting out those asks so people can follow up with them. And then the next thing ultimately is that is just one of your asks. If you're going to send out a big email, first, I really encourage you to make it a personal email. But if you already send out a blanket email to everybody, following up with a personal email is really important. Okay. And then sending a personal text message with a link makes it really easy for people to follow up. And then ultimately a phone call is incredible. I really connecting with people can be very nerve-wracking, but people appreciate personal connection and it shows that you care. And through text messages, a couple of my friends I've seen have actually, they've made a short little video and then they send the video through a text message and it actually says hey, John, I'm running my longest run this weekend, 10 miles. And you know that I hate running, or maybe you know that I love running. But either way, on Saturday morning, I'm going to Gasworks Park with 300 other people, and I'll help end the clean water crisis. And I would love your help. If you were to donate $50, one person's life, provide clean water and a safe place to go to the bathroom. John, will you consider doing that? My link's just right below this video. You can click on there. It's tax deductible. It's actionable immediately. And I'd really appreciate your support. Thanks so much. You know, guys, I mean, really, you can create little videos over and over and over again and send those out to people individually, and they are powerful. And you can even create those videos on race day morning at Gasworks Park and start texting them out or start sending them out even through Facebook and social media. But use the technology that you have. That's what I would say. Use the technology that you have. So we've got a few people on the phone right now, and I'd love to open it up to you guys if you have questions and or encouragements, like things that you've tried that you have seen to be successful, or things that you're gonna try, because I think the more voices we can get into this, the better. So I mute my phone so that they can hear you guys, and ultimately, if anybody has anything they want to share, let's shout it out.
Sure. So I want to thank you for encouraging us to call or text, because that had been on my mind for, I feel like I've just been doing the blanket emails or update emails for the longest time. I know I've wanted a step in my fundraising. Or what have been people's experiences with people? Because I know for me, like, I've got pretty bad like call anxiety as far as calling people in general, but then on top of that, like, for something this personal too.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to see if anybody on the phone wants to jump in on that potentially, and then I can answer too if not.
Yeah, hey, this is Kristen. Hey, John. I feel like we live in the same city and we're in the same group run, but we keep making And apologies to everybody on the phone. I'm a little sick, so send up prayers because I didn't get my run in today. But yeah, John, I would say Lindsay mentioned this a little bit when she was talking about fundraising, but I'm really bad at the personal call as well, because I'm kind of like, oh, it's so awesome. Like, I'll ask friends to donate or catching up with them or whatever, but the personal video was my way to kind of like get my thoughts out, make it personal, and do an ask without it being like this, like do the small talk sort of salesy phone call pitch. And that seemed to work really well for my birthday last year when I did my birthday run. Folks, I ran my birthday kilometers on my birthday. I sent out about 40 to 50 personal videos via either Facebook message or email or text message. And I sent those out like within the days leading up to my birthday to encourage people to give. So that would be, John, that would be my suggestion if you're kind of nervous about, calling directly and asking people, or like Lindsay said, the text messages can be great as well, whether it's texting a video or emailing a video. You get to control the message a little bit more if you get nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and I think short and sweet is always appreciated. So if you do a little video, I mean, if you can keep it, a minute or under, like, first of all, that will text, and I think it's powerful and it's personal and people get it. I know my husband has done a few like during runs or after runs or before runs, and that way, like, I think he made himself a goal for LA a couple years ago that before every run, he'd send out at least one message to someone. So it didn't take him a whole lot of time, but it was personal to somebody, and that kept him accountable to doing it too. which was good. So even if you think about doing that before or after every run, and sometimes, I mean, he was a hot mess. He was looking bad, and that was helpful. It was helpful. So that's good. And then as far as phone calls, I'll be honest, phone calls make me super, super nervous. If like you and your group run folks got in a room and got some pizza and some beverages and just said, we're straight up going to start calling people. One, that's brought me a lot of energy, you know, because there's other people doing it. And like, if you're on one side of the room and somebody else is on the other side of the room or whatever, then it's not too overpowering that you're like ground on each other's calls, but it's helpful and it's encouraging. And then the other thing that I would say about that too is anytime I make a phone call, I always have the bullets that I want to say that are most important. You know, I try to make every phone call personal, but then get to the point and tell them the personal thing about clean water or about the kids that's keeping me running right now, the thing that's breaking my heart right now, and being bold to say, you know, even if it's like, I'm trying to get every mile sponsored, you know, $100, would you be willing to sponsor one of my miles? And like literally assign them a mile, like whatever mile they want. And you can say, hey, I'm going to offer up a prayer for you then on mile 26. Like, thank you for covering my mile 26. And that's a really cool personal way that people can be a part of the run and connect with you, you know? And I think with phone calls, to have a personal invitation and connection like that is helpful. Yeah.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, you bet.
This is Lindsay up from Washington. I love the idea of having people cover a specific mile because I think that it's incredibly tangible for somebody to be able to say, okay, well, I got mile 13 or I got mile 14. Just connects it back to the run. And so that's something my husband and I have been trying to think about ways to connect it. You know, like we have a water droplet that we filled with, you know, different number amounts ranging, you know, 50, 100, 200, and we fill it in whenever we get a donation of that amount, and we send a thank you note to that person, or just kind of that way of tying them back. So I really love that. I got a question though for I'd love to know who like these people that we're asking, who's on your list? Like, what type of people are on your list to ask?
Right on. For me, it's friends and family, community. I have like gone through, so Facebook, the other cool thing for me is to see who's liked my posts. You know, like who's like super encouraging, and maybe they didn't donate, but they like, you know, they liked the post. And then I'll go back and send them an individual Facebook message, or I'll email them personally if I have that, or reach out to them. So again, Facebook is like a really good warm lead to figure out who's kind of interested or already kind of supporting you that might be able to take the next step. I also, last summer, went through all of my Facebook friends. And I try to say no for no one. You know, I'll invite anybody in, but definitely, you know, I'll pray through people and I'll make lists and have invitations. And again, with all of I did lots of Facebook message invites to people that I think are on Facebook a lot and Facebook friends. And if I didn't have their email, I would use that form of communication. But I used almost the same like little message in every one of them, and just changed their name and changed the intro and made it more personal. But that way the base of the message was the same. And that was like how I had every mile covered last year, was a lot through that. But I think coworkers, you know, in your case, that's a little bit different. But yeah, neighbors. And then even I think places like Kiamani said this at Impact Night. She said places that her family has invested in for years. Those are the people that she's gone to. So I am like, she asked her dentist, which I was like, never would have thought of that. But like, I think the person that cuts her hair, like people that have been around her for years, she's invited in, which I thought was super creative and thoughtful, you know, and those are kind of people like dentists and hair cutters and people like that. The first question they ask you is, hey, what are you up to? How's your life going? And that's a great way to tell them what's up, you know? Anybody else can jump in on that too. Hey, Kristen, do you want to mention your paper chain at all? I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, sure thing.
I actually have mine right here, so I can show people what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Because Kristen's inspired me to make a paper chain too.
So yeah, guys, I did post this in the Seattle Facebook group at one point, so you may have seen it, but or if you're friends with me on Facebook, but yeah, look at Lindsay's paper chain. There you go. So as I was looking at my goal this year, my goal is to earn $10,000. So 200 kids with clean water. I was thinking about the goal, and I was just overwhelmed by it. And like Lindsay said, it doesn't matter how many years you run the Team World Vision and fundraise, it's still overwhelming every year. So I was overwhelmed by it and just felt like I needed a physical reminder of why I was running and what I was running for. And so I started thinking about it, and I wanted like a tangible way to look at my goal. And so I made a paper chain. I was thinking about like elementary school and like, hey, I want to count down this being 200 kids with clean water. And I loved counting down for Christmas and all these other things that we would do in like elementary school. So, and then as I was thinking about it, I was like, how powerful is the symbolism of a chain and chains being broken as people receive clean water. It just was a really powerful visual and image for me. So as people have been giving, each chain represents one kid with clean water. So and it's like hanging in my room right now. So as people have been giving, I rip off a chain, and that is my indication of, okay, that's another kid with clean water, another kind of cycle of poverty that's been broken. It's a powerful representation of hope, and it's been cool for people to give and me to like run into my room and make a little video and encourage people by it. So it's just been motivating for me, and I wake up every morning and I see that goal, and I go to bed every night and I see that goal. To do, especially if you maybe have kids. I definitely don't have kids, but it would be a really fun way to get your kids involved and get them kind of invested in your run as well.
Yeah. I think what's really cool too is like you're saying, as you're thanking people, you can create a little video and like rip it off and say that they've done this. And what's cool too is I've made the chains. I've realized like donates that $50 or that $100 or $200, literally you can tell them that they were the person that provided water to like the 100th person or the 101st person. Like you're part of a team of people that have provided this much water to this many people. So it's not just one person, but like your efforts like on this team, like we are a team of people, have actually provided water not just to 1 or 2 people, but to 60 or to 80 or to 100. And I think that that's really cool that people then are empowered, like that they are part of something bigger, which is just really cool. And I would echo, like now that I have a chain all around my office, it reminder to me about how many people are literally struggling every day and how I can help them literally break that chain of oppression and injustice and poverty and help them live a little more fully, which is just incredible. So any other thoughts, questions, brainstorm ideas from the phone?
Hey, it's Catherine. I don't know if talked about this yet, but I think that social media is not like the best way to generate lots of donations, but I think social media can be very effective in like creating a swell around your fundraising, especially when it comes to thanking people. Really send people like a personal email, like private them.
Mm-hmm.
But I also do a very big and public like thank you on Facebook.
Yeah.
Usually with like a nicely written about them or my relationship with them. If you're, doing something and push on a specific day, I did that on my birthday, and I think it just kind of creates momentum and excitement, and people are like, oh, this is cool, like I want to be acknowledged, or I want to get involved. And so I think like Facebook can be a really smart way to boost your fundraising if you how to work it. And I think too, like, your link is always available for people, even in your thank you posts, just so like you're pushing that out there all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just something I've noticed.
Yeah, with that too, I'll jump in. So like Lindsay, when you and Tom did your first challenge last week, or you do your next challenge this week, if you comment on that one post, anybody that liked that post will get a notification that something's been commented on. And if you tag people in that post, then not only do those people see it, but people's friends of those people see it. And then it's all in one place, and it generates a lot of interest and connection. So like, first of all, they deserve to be publicly recognized and thanked. But then also, like Catherine's saying, we found just because of how the wild world of social media works, it really does like grow that sphere of influence because of tagging people and having it all on one post. Different, helpful, but having it connected more towards a couple different posts. Anybody that's liking that or clicking on it at all, then get notifications about it. So it can really kind of snowball, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I'd say too, like, think of ways to switch it up. Like if you're gonna do a post or something, instead of just writing a message, like with your link, maybe take like a crazy picture of yourself, because I think people are more likely to like look at that and grab their attention. I think kind of can be affected too. Like if you are a certain number of dollars away from like a milestone, like, oh, I'm, years away from $1,000. Last year I did this, it was actually Kristen's idea. I did this crazy thing where I was like, I think, I don't know, $60 away from like a big milestone. So I put it out there, and I like took this crazy picture of myself that was not flattering at all. And I like wrote in these big like bold text letters on the photo, like who's gonna, put me over the top, and if you're the winning person, like I would sing a live Sound of Music video for them, like a song and they could pick the song, and I'd record it and then like post it on their wall. And just like if you do it right, like I think from that I generated like over $500 just like out of nothing. Stuff like that, you kind of box and kind of work a little bit, it can really work to your advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think silly things that make you look silly, for some reason, people just like to pay to help embarrass people, but it's all for the kids, so, can be worth it. So that's something to consider. One of our runners 2 years ago said anybody that gives him a $50 donation, he'll listen to whatever song you want him to listen to during a mile. So for $50, he'll listen to a song during that mile for you. So like ABBA was on this playlist, like it was all over the place. But then if you were to give $100 for that mile, he would listen to whatever song you wanted him to listen to, but he would then also say or do whatever you wanted him to do that mile. So literally he had to listen to the Dirty Dancing song on one of the miles and actually shout out to someone, "Nobody puts baby in the corner." during that mile. And it was hilarious. And he filmed himself doing all of this during the half marathon and then posted it on Facebook so everybody could see that he did it. And he raised an incredible amount of money, and a lot of people got a lot of joy from it, and even said they doubled down for next year. Like they were already ready to donate next year because they had found other ridiculous things that he should do. So that was pretty fun. So Catherine, you're absolutely right. Fun things like that can really work out, which is neat. So any other last thoughts before we close it up?
One thing that we, Tom and I are going to try, again, just kind of narrowing down our list of who we want to ask and how we want to ask. I love the idea of texting the videos, so we're going to try that. But we've narrowed down our list into, like, I guess, people groups, like people we went to college with, people we grew up with, our neighbors, you know, friends at church, friends outside of church, you know. So we've kind of targeted it and said, okay, for these 4 days, these are the people that we're going to ask. We're going to follow up with them. We're going to not only tag them, post them, we're going to try and text them this week. If we get around to a call, we're a little call shy as well. But if we get around to a call, that's what we're going to do as well, because we found that have stuff in common as well. So right now we're doing an Arkansas versus Washington challenge, and our hope is that our friends from Arkansas will kind of rally around and get behind it. And then our friends from Washington will do the same thing. But it's a way of kind of finding community among our community of people, that little sub-community. So that's something we're giving a try.
Great thinking.
We'll let you know how it works.
That's right. Awesome. All right.
Hey, Lindsay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you say, I got on the call a few minutes late, you were saying that there was like an Excel sheet, something that had some reporting built into it?
Yeah.
Is that available?
Yes. So if you go to teamworldvision.org/hero, you'll see that document and you can download it, and then you can plug in all the information so you can see the potential of what you think will happen, and then you can fill in the actual donation so you can see how much you've raised and where you're at and how far you need to go. And it's super helpful. Helped me. And to be honest, just praying over names and writing in names that I never would have thought of or considered. And I mean, you know, but like the big Team World Vision thing is never say no for anyone. And really, I found, you know, people from 10 years ago that I haven't seen in a decade, you know, from high school, or people like teachers that I had in elementary school. I mean, just crazy stuff. You know, people have donated. So, but being able to like keep is a great thing, because then you can thank them too. And it's just really awesome. So that document, I think, is one of the best tools we have.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap us up with a word from Ephesians and a quick prayer. But ultimately, you know, as great things happen, celebrate it in that Facebook group so people know what's going on. Definitely thank people like crazy. Use those wash reports. I think that they're actually really helpful, because people don't realize how they really can make a huge difference in the world. And just opening that up, you never know what people will give too. But so this is out of Ephesians 3. It will sound very familiar to you all. Verse 16, out of his glorious riches, he may strengthen you with the power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power together with all of the saints to grasp how deep and long and high and wide is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses all knowledge, and that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God, who is able to do immeasurably more than all that we could ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. To him be the glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. We just thank you that somehow we are very powerful people, and that you truly choose us and you use us to do more than we could ever ask or imagine. And God, we have some huge goals that make us very nervous, whether those are physically related or financially related. Lord, we just know that you are so much bigger than us. And I pray that you would continue to just give us glimpses of how awesome you are as we are just moved by what you can do. God, we relinquish all of this to you, and we pray your Holy Spirit upon it, that you would just move in ways that we can't even understand. But as see you move, that we would be able to truly grasp, God, how wide and long and high and deep your love is for your world, because it does surpass all knowledge. We don't know how $500,000 gets raised. We don't know how these crazy goals get hit. We don't know how we run 13 miles or 26 miles. We don't know how that happens, God, but we know that it happens because you are God and you can do all things. So we submit these things to you for your glory and your honor, and we thank you that we get to be a part of it. Generations. God, that what we're doing right now will literally change lives for generations to come. That is humbling and incredible, and we just thank you that we get to be a part of it. So bless this team. Keep us strong physically, mentally, and spiritually. And surprise us, Lord. Surprise us with your goodness and your love. We thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so that's it, guys. I am going to sign off of the live stream. If anybody else on the phone has any other last minute questions, we can do that. But I love you guys. I'm praying for you guys, and I will see you on Saturday morning. Gasworks Park, we're starting that craziness at 7 a.m. So get there like 6:40, 6:45 so you can sign in. We're going to be led in some awesome stretches by the one and only Kelly Infield. I'm going to give you some words of encouragement, and then we're going to crush this thing. We've got cheer stations and aid stations and a finish line tent and some celebration. So it's going to be a good morning. So if you are particularly nervous or overwhelmed or excited, you need to show up on Saturday. All right, we'll see you soon. Practice race day, baby. Talk to you later.